What's going on? We got the NBA opening night last night. We got two games. The first game I want to talk about is the Warriors versus the Nets. We'll start with the Nets. The first thing I noticed that I was a little disappointed in was I saw DeAndre Jordan starting over Jarrett Allen. Now, I really like Jarrett Allen. I was really hoping he'd be the starter. I do get it. I get obviously just putting the best players in your starting lineup isn't always the way to go, either chemistry-wise or wanting Jarrett Allen to be your leader off the bench. I get that too. The most obvious thing about the Nets was their offense. Their offense was incredible. And Kevin Durant looked like Kevin Durant, which is huge. He was moving really well. He didn't look like he was bothered at all. He was moving well. He was shooting well. He was driving well. He was dunking, it was just great to watch him play. He looked really good last night. Kyrie looked amazing as well. That's to be more expected. But it's nice to see both of their stars really came out and played well in their first game. They looked really good together as well. The offense as a whole for Brooklyn had a really great flow to it. They were moving that ball around like crazy, which is awesome to see. It's awesome to see the other dudes other than Kyrie or KD looking good. And speaking of guys other than Kyrie or KD looking good, Caris LeVert was amazing last night as well. He looks really good in his role off the bench. Now, I had Spencer Dinwiddie as my sixth man of the year, so Caris LeVert coming off the bench kind of messed that up, but I guess I'll root for LeVert to be sixth man of the year so I can at least say I had the right idea. If I had any complaint about Brooklyn's offense, it would be the lobs. And this could have just been me. Maybe watching it live, I was thinking I was seeing it more than I was. But I feel like they threw a lot of lobs that were not getting finished just because, they were a little wild. It wasn't exactly a wide open lane for them. But I feel like I watched both Jarrett Allen and DeAndre Jordan have a lot of unsuccessful lob attempts thrown their way. Now, moving over to the Warriors, I don't have quite as much positives to say about them. They looked really sloppy. They even looked lost at certain times. Steph Curry needs help really bad. It became very evident in that first game that they're going to miss Klay Thompson a lot. I mean, a lot of brick threes. Curry, he really needs some help out there. He needs people that are going to knock down shots, people he can kick it out to and trust. I mean, I don't know who that's going to be. Wiggins looks bad, and I hate to say that. I'm always rooting for Wiggins. I really want Wiggins to be successful, but he looked really bad last night. He looked like how he looked in Minnesota, where he can put up points if he's given a lot of opportunities, but it's going to take a lot of opportunities to get those points. Oubre is another guy that didn't look very good last night. I do really love the energy and the hustle he brings to this team. He had some moments where watching him, he was working really hard, which is nice to see, but it wasn't actually turning into success. Wiseman's another guy. Wiseman, I don't think had a great night, but he definitely showed some flashes of what he can do on this team, which was nice. He played very aggressively on the offensive end of the floor. He got himself to the line several times because of that, so that was nice to see, but he really struggled finishing inside. And I'm not even talking about when he was getting fouled, just in general. I feel like I watched him take so many inside shots that didn't go for him, a couple failed hook shots. I don't know if he converted any and ones or got the opportunity for any even. So I'd like to see him finish a lot better on the inside. Defensively, I thought he looked all right. I mean, just from a fundamental standpoint, he seemed to be where he was supposed to be most of the time, which is good from a rookie. I think there's a lot of jitters here. I think he's going to be really good for this team. It was cool to see him starting, and I think that should be regular for him on this squad. When Draymond comes back, I think that'll be helpful for him as well. It'll give him a nice partner there to help him out and guide him through everything. One of the positives for the Warriors was a guy I've actually never heard of before, and that was Juan Toscano Anderson. I really liked him. He looked like a lot more like a old veteran than he did a rookie. He wasn't doing anything insane. He wasn't amazing, but what he was doing was good. He had one really nice chase down block. His screens, he was setting really good screens, I noticed, and he just seemed to be in the right spot at all times. So I'm going to be watching that kid. I think that's a name you can hear a lot this season, so I'd be paying attention to him. I really liked what I saw from him. Now moving on to the Lakers versus Clippers game. I didn't get to see as much of this game as the Nets game. I got to watch that whole game, but unfortunately I had to go to work. I didn't get to catch the entire Lakers-Clippers game. I was kind of tuning in and out when I got the chance to. The one thing I noticed was that I really liked the way both teams were moving the ball. I think both teams had a really nice flow to their offense. And man, I really hope that we get this for the Western Conference Finals this year. I wanted it last year. I think this year both teams are coming in better, which is really cool. I really hope we get to see this matchup. I'd love to see these two teams play in a 7-game series. So looking at the Lakers, LeBron and Anthony Davis both seem to be on a minute restriction. And after the game, Vogel kind of confirmed that, talking about how they had the shortest offseason ever. They just won the championship, and then they had to come back on a short offseason. So I guess that's why he wants both of them to have a minutes restriction right now. LeBron also did roll his ankle at one point, so that could have been part of it. But it'll be interesting to see how long this restriction lasts into the year, or if this is going to be the whole regular season. That'll be really interesting. I'm assuming they want them full strength for the playoffs, and obviously that's something that you always want, but I think it's going to be a lot more dramatic this season. So hopefully it becomes clear, throughout the next couple of games what Vogel's plan is going to be for them minute-wise. Each one of them took over for short bursts during the game. Anthony Davis still looks incredibly defensively, which again is to be expected. I have him as my Defensive Player of the Year this year, so it's really good to see him come out in this first game and show that. Obviously, it didn't translate into a win, which is unfortunate, but they both did look good when they were playing, and they both had moments where they looked like who we expect them to be. Now, something I noticed a lot with the Lakers, though, was their two new centers. Marc Gasol had a rough night. He played around, I think it was 12 minutes total. He didn't even take a shot. He had 1 rebound. Montrez definitely looked like the better center tonight. I think Montrez was going to be better anyway, but it's concerning to see Gasol still struggling. He struggled ever since the bubble started, really. So I'm really hoping Gasol can be better for this team because he's a good player and he could be really big for this team. Having him and Montrez playing like themselves would be amazing for the Lakers. As for the Clippers, if this is what Paul George is going to be the entire season, he might be looking to be in the MVP conversation again. It's incredible. He looked unstoppable last night. He completely unguardable. It was insane. He was shooting lights out. He was driving past people. He just looked really good last night. Last night was one of the best games of Paul George's career, in my opinion. I also really like how Ibaka looks on this team. I think he fits in really well, and I really like the way he stretches the floor for them. I think he's a great fit for them. I think this was a really good pickup. I loved the pickup when it happened, and I still love it. I think he's going to work out really nicely for them. Defensively, I'd like to see a little bit more from him. I feel like I watched him get blown by 3 or 4 times, and like I said, I didn't even get to watch the game in full. I was kind of tuning in and out, so that's not great. I hope he can do better on that end of the floor, and again, it might not have been as bad as I'm thinking it was. Maybe watching the full game, he was really sound. He just happened to get caught a couple times. Overall, this was a great game. It was a lot better than the first game of the night. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these two teams as well as the Nets from the first game. The Warriors, on the other hand, I'm worried about them. I don't have them making the playoffs this year, but even still, they looked worse than I was expecting. I thought they were going to be close, but what I saw last night, and I don't want to be dramatic, it's one game. Draymond isn't back yet, but from what I saw last night, I'm really worried about them. I'm really excited for tonight. We got a lot of basketball coming up. I believe it's 13 games going on tonight. My Celtics get their first game of the season playing the Bucks. I'm super excited for that. We're going to get to see the Heat play as well tonight. That'll be fun. Get to see how Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson come out. And I always love watching Jimmy. I'm also looking forward to seeing this Knicks team play for the first time in a while. I don't remember the last time I said I was looking forward to a Knicks game, but I really want to see how quickly Barrett and Obi Toppin play. I really like those 3 guys, 3 really young guys, so they should be a lot of fun to watch play tonight. We get Zion tonight as well. Zion and the Raptors. That'll be fun. I love watching Pascal play as well, and Kyle Lowry's always a good time. Trae Young plays tonight. That'll be great. John Morant also plays tonight, actually, which is another good one. We have Thunder Rockets. That should be a very interesting game. A lot of dysfunction going with the Rockets. Plus, I love watching some Shea. Overall, this is going to be a great night. We haven't had this much basketball in a long time, and I can't wait. I can't wait to just sit down, relax, and watch some ball. So that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about opening night because it was so much fun, man. It's one of my favorite days of the year is that first basketball game coming back. I appreciate anyone that spent the time to watch this, and if you want more basketball content, you can stick around this channel, and I'll see you soon.